What's going on YouTube? So it's not often that we see legends make a return after a long hiatus. However, we're glad to see this one do it. This is the new 2025 Volkswagen ID.Buzz, which is a modern interpretation of the classic Volkswagen bus. And we want to know, after living with it for a week, is this a funky alternative you could shop against something like a Toyota Sienna? Well, let's go ahead and find out. Now let's get started here with our spec dump. So I can kind of open its mouth up and it will look at you in shock because underneath of here we don't really have anything. This is just some access to fluids and such because this is an electric product. It has a 91 kilowatt hour lithium ion battery pack. It's making 335 horsepower from a dual motor all-wheel drive system.
Now the base price for the ID.Buzz is $59,000, and if you're looking to buy one or any new vehicle, we would encourage you to go to carconfections.com/newcarquotes to get the best price. Now this is a 7-day review after all, so we will be talking about our efficiency after the past week. We'll also be getting things like our sound level reading, and at the end discussing if we liked it better, the same, or worse after living with it.
But let's go ahead and put the face back on here so that we can talk about the exterior and the interior functionality. Now getting started here with the exterior design. Come on, what can I really say about this exterior look? It is so uniquely Volkswagen. It really is a modernization of an iconic classic design, and I think they really nailed it. By the expressions on everyone else's face though, that's what really tells me they nailed it. Everybody had a huge grin as soon as they saw this vehicle. Now in terms of features, you do have full LED lights. These are adaptive LEDs. They're very good at night. This also has a light bar, as many Volkswagen products do, all across the front, and a large Volkswagen logo right there, which is illuminated at night. The lower part of the fascia is going to be body color, and obviously we do have the two-tone paint scheme today. And then of course, moving around to the back, it's a Buzz.
Yeah, it is. It's very bus-like, very straight up and down. And I'm going to have Drew go ahead and hop inside so we can check out the taillights and see how premium those are. We do have a spoiler, as was a wiper. And our taillights are going to be quite nice. As you can see, we do have an LED brake light, LED turn signal indicator, as well as an LED reverse light. So a full LED setup, standard equipment. Big, prominent Volkswagen branding. And then down here at the bottom, of course, this is an electric vehicle. No exhaust outlets. However, you can still tow with the ID.Buzz. If you get the rear drive version, it's 2,600 pound maximum. If you get all-wheel drive like this one, 3,500 pounds is your maximum.
Now moving on to the wheels, we've got a 20-inch alloy wheel. It does have the black aero covers, giving it a two-tone design. Again, very retro looking. And then as we move up here to our mirrors, we've got a gloss black finish on board. They do have blind spot monitoring, heating, and power folding, all as standard equipment.
Now at the side of the ID.Buzz, you may be tempted to think that this thing is absolutely massive. However, lengthwise, it's about 195 inches long, which is actually around 10 inches shorter than a Toyota Sienna, for instance, and about 5 inches shorter than Volkswagen's own Atlas. So that's kind of your fun fact for today, but it does look very big because it is so tall. Now, of course, we do have the two-tone paint scheme going up here on the top. It's about a $1,000 option if you want the two-tone color finish. And as far as your safety systems are concerned for the ID.Buzz, you're going to get every single one of those as standard equipment, and that will even include things like travel assist. But guys, there's a very unique cabin that we can't wait to show you, so let's dive into that. But first, if you're new here, we're brothers and we've been reviewing cars since we were 12
and 16. We started young, and since then we've reviewed over 2,000 cars at every price point.
And if you want to know about all the latest and greatest rides, then make sure to subscribe to be a part of our Car Confections family.
Let's learn a lot and have some fun with all the newest cars. All right, moving to the interior next. First, we'll look at the key fob. We've got a very nice looking Volkswagen key fob. You do, of course, have a standard smart entry system, and you can control the doors on the fob as well. And then this vehicle basically senses your approach. When you come up to it, it will go ahead and unlock the door and fold the mirrors out. Same when you go away from the vehicle later on. And let's look inside this interior now. So just like with the exterior, this is a very unique interior in terms of the packaging, as well as even things like the color schemes. And let's talk about the seats first of all. So what you'll find on all ID.Buzzes is a VTEX leatherette. It's very realistic leatherette. I like the stitching details, the little ID branding up there going throughout. This color is known as Dune. You've got a couple other color options you can pick as well. And then as far as the seats themselves are concerned, you got a lot of adjustments. So we have 12 ways of power adjustment, and we have a massage function, which is a pretty cool thing to see on this vehicle. And you also notice your memory seat's located right there. But let's go ahead and climb inside. Now, unlike most of the rivals in the minivan space, there is actually a bit of a step up into the vehicle, but they have kind of a built-in area for you to put your foot and climb inside. And now that we're inside here, let's go ahead and look around at the overall cabin material. So definitely very visually interesting, although the material choices are more utilitarian. As we take a look at the door trim, first of all, you'll notice we have orange accenting, the kind of matching with the exterior. This is a leatherette for your arm to rest against, hard touch plastic along the top. As we move to the upper dashboard, this will all be a hard touch plastic. We have a quite realistic looking faux wood trim that's going to run all across through there. And then down at the bottom part here, we have some more of the orange accenting. And then all this, of course, will just be open space. Now, this vehicle does not require you to actually push a button or anything to start it up. You're just going to put your foot on the brake. And now that it's fired up, let's get into some of the individual details. Now, just about everything about this vehicle is pretty unusual, so you won't be surprised to see that the gauge cluster itself is pretty unusual. So this is actually a approximately 5-inch display, but it's attached to the steering column itself. So no matter how you adjust the steering wheel, it's going to stay perfectly right there with a clear view. You have a little bit of customizability, not a ton of things that you can do with this, but more importantly is with the Pro models, that's going to give you that big old head-up display. Now, as we pull back to the steering wheel, we've got a nice leatherette wrapped steering wheel with the flat bottom design, newest Volkswagen logo. The buttons themselves are going to be touch capacitive, but they work nice and responsively. And then the wheel, of course, is manual tilt and telescoping, as I was mentioning earlier, and heated as well. Now, let's talk about interior storage. Because of this being just a really flat electric vehicle, packaging is basically whatever you want it to be. So let's kind of get into some of the options that you've got here. First of all, we've got a console that's kind of bolted into the floor here. You have some storage up at the top here, and then on both sides, you're going to find some storage. So you have plenty of spaces for your donuts. This back part here is stuffed with 10 donuts, so that's very nice. And then you've got another little cubby here that pops out. That's in addition to the fact that you're going to find, obviously, all of this is just completely flexible space to do whatever you want to with. You can fold that out. That's going to give you 2 cup holders. You have a giant storage shelf for the passenger side. You've got a ton of storage over there in the door trim itself. Like I said, just extremely versatile. The wireless phone charging pad is up here. By the way, it doesn't work very well, but it is up there. And also up here is the shifter. So this is just a simple electronic style. Twist up for drive, twist down for reverse. When we go into reverse, you're going to see the 360-degree camera system pop up. You've got a couple different views that you can choose between, and there's your overhead view. The resolution, though, is a little grainy, and the overall perspective seems a little distorted, so I was definitely mostly relying on this overhead view versus this view. And if you don't want to rely on anything except the computer system, you can always use the automatic parking system as well. And just press the end right there for park. And now that pretty much just takes us to this large display area. This is where a lot of the functions of the vehicle are going to be. This is a 12.9-inch display. And then let's start by talking about the climate system. So that's going to be down here on the lower panel. You can just swipe up and down to adjust that. Additional functions are inside of the display itself. You also have 3-stage, excuse me, let me press that button right there, 3-stage heated and ventilated seats, which are both going to be standard equipment on all ID.Buzzes. Now, as far as the other panel right here, this is our volume slider. The Plus models are going to come with a 13-speaker Harman Kardon sound system. Let's go ahead and give it a sample. Overall sound quality is pretty good. All right, so zeroing in here on the main infotainment system, like I already said, 12.9 inches. This is Volkswagen's latest software experience, so there's a lot going on in terms of what you can do. Just breaking it down, the simplest stuff, you've got, of course, your built-in navigation system right there. You're going to find dedicated things related to vehicle charging and some additional functions. Easily adjustable right there. This does have wireless Android Auto and Apple CarPlay as well. That's what that's going to look like when you pull that up. I will say it is paired absolutely seamlessly to Mason's iPhone as well as my Galaxy phone every single time this week. Really, really quick and very responsive system. And it's been pretty easy to use. Up top here, we've got an auto-dimming mirror. Kind of wish it was a digital camera rear view mirror though, because that window is way, way back there. And then up here at the top, we do not have a sunroof on this example.
All right, so let's go ahead and start by talking about this rear seat area. You do have power sliding rear doors, just like you would expect out of any other minivan like the Sienna. You also do have the hands-free ability on the Plus versions. Now, let's go ahead and talk about space, because I think you're going to be very pleasantly surprised with that, first and foremost here in the ID.Buzz. Now, Volkswagen says it's about 39 inches of legroom, 42 inches of headroom. So the headroom figure really demolishes almost anything that you could be cross-shopping this ID.Buzz with. And the legroom, they claim is 39 inches. However, I think that was with the seat adjusted to a different position than what I'm sitting at. We are looking at 12 inches plus about 3 more. So about 15 inches of knee room behind Drew's 5'8" driving position, and I am 5'9". That is an incredible amount of space. So much room. Also, these seats do slide forward and back a very good distance, so you can really customize how much space you need. And the seats do recline as well to really maximize your comfort. Now, I do want to point out, this seating capacity is 6 as equipped. So we have 2 in the front, 2 here in the second row, and 2 in the third row. You can get a maximum of 7 passenger seating, so you do have the bench seat option. It's just not on this model. Now, the center console may look familiar to you. That's because it's actually the one from the front. We borrowed it for this section of the video. It's actually bolted to the floor. You can take it out and then bolt it to the back floor as well. So if you'd rather have the storage cubby for your donuts or whatever in the rear, you can do so. As you can see, we have some storage right there. We also have a cup holder. And then as far as features are concerned here in the rear, we have this pocket, which is good for a cell phone. We have vents out of the ceiling, as well as our own zone of climate here for the rear. The door trim itself is going to be nicely done. Same orange leatherette. Additionally, we're going to have standard heated second row seats on every single ID.Buzz and just a ton of door storage. So overall, this is an incredibly practical second row of seats for you and your family. Now that trend of having a lot of space will continue here in the third row, so let's go ahead and check it out. In order to get back here, you just grab this little lever right there. That's going to tilt the seat up and out of the way. You would not have to remove a child seat since the back does not move, and it really makes for a super easy runway to getting into the third row. And let's talk about the third row itself. So as far as this area, absolutely incredible. We are sitting at 42 inches of legroom in the third row. I believe that is the most spacious third row legroom-wise that I have ever been in. And we do have a ton of headroom as well. This is a very boxy vehicle. That means you're going to have a ton of space. The thigh support is absolutely fantastic. My feet can also easily slide up underneath of the seat. I brought my ruler back here as well, because even with this seat slid all the way back in its tracks, we are sitting at 8 inches of third row knee room. That is unheard of, guys. Absolutely fantastic. There are only 2 seats back here, so keep that in mind. And as far as features are concerned, we do have a nice leatherette pad for our arm to rest on. We also have USB ports going to be integrated here, another cup holder, and we also have vents. I did kind of fail to mention this earlier, but there are USBs in pretty much every door pocket in this vehicle. So if you want to keep your phone charged up, it's pretty much in every single door. As far as how this ranks on our third row rating scale, this is absolutely fit for a king. Now walking up to the tailgate, we do have a power one that's also hands-free. And let's see how much cargo space you're going to have in the ID.Buzz. Now, if you've been seeing the trend of there's a lot of space, that's also going to continue when it comes to the back as well. We're sitting at 18 cubic feet behind the third row of seats, 75 cubic feet behind the second row of seats, and as a maximum, 145 cubic feet. Those are really fantastic space figures. If you are cross-shopping, with a Sienna, that is going to be more maximum space by a significant margin, and compared to other minivans like Odyssey and Pacifica, it's a very similar maximum cargo capacity, really good stuff. Now, as far as how to, fold the seats and all that, it is going to be a manual setup. So what you have to do is grab this little, grab this little strap here. That's going to fold the seats down. As you can see, they're not exactly flat with the floor. However, these seats can be fully removed if you need the maximum cargo capacity. And there's also, just in general, a lot of customizability. You can put a storage shelf that can be installed in here, and you even have these little pull-out bins as well, so you can slide different items that you might be, frequently accessing down below. It's a really cool setup. I've really never seen that before. Now, in order to fold the second row of seats, I will have to go up there and do it manually. And now that I've got those seats folded down, as you can see, it is a flat loading floor this way. And as far as overall cargo length, we're going to be sitting at about 91 inches of length. That's going to be less than some of the rivals just due to the overall vehicle length. However, behind the second row seats, we're still sitting at 50 inches of length. Behind the third row, about 13 inches. Overall width is going to be really good, 48 inches. And then height, that's where this ID.Buzz really excels. Wow, 43 inches tall. Do keep in mind that is, if you removed these seats, you would have that 43 inches as a maximum. And if you're curious as to how this ranks among other maybe gas minivans you might be curious as to cross-shopping with, be sure to go to carconfections.com/vehicle rankings. The reason you do that is because we have ranked all the other gas minivans you could be looking at to see which ones have the best technology, the best cargo space, the best third rows, those things that might be most important to you in this segment. So do yourself a favor, check that out. But overall, a very practical rear cargo area that has a lot of customizability as well. Well guys, here we are behind the wheel of the Volkswagen ID.Buzz. In this test drive, we're going to be discussing quite a few different things, as you can see on the screen right now. We'll also be getting things like our sound level reading, but first we want to go ahead and start with a hard acceleration.
That's 60.
Not bad.
Definitely not bad at all. Especially considering, this is a minivan, so you could, put it against many rival minivans which are not known for being quick. This is going to be quite quick with its full electric powertrain and instantaneous torque. Now, what do we have on board? Well, just to remind you guys, 91 kilowatt-hour lithium-ion battery pack. You can get a rear drive model, or you can get the dual motor all-wheel drive model. That's what we have today. That makes 335 horsepower.
Yeah, I think really more so than the horsepower, you will notice that instantaneous torque of it just being electric. No other minivan will take off initially like what that just did. Nope. It really pushes you back in your seat. And I've found it to be a very pleasant drive experience over the past several days that I've been driving it. It just is, quick when you need it to be, but also kind of blends into your everyday lifestyle. So I really kind of like the overall powertrain setup. Now, as far as the rear drive model, you do have less horsepower if you choose the rear drive. It's just going to be a single motor setup, 282 horsepower. We, of course, have the dual motor all-wheel drive setup.
Yeah, I think when it comes to a van, you really want just smoothness, and it really doesn't get any smoother than having the electric powertrain. And in sport mode, feels even a bit quicker.
Yeah, that's for sure. All right, now let's also talk about some big other numbers that I'm sure you guys are curious about. Range. So because there are only 2 versions of this vehicle, that means you have a
Bro. That's the most ultimate thing I've ever seen.
Big ultimate energy aside, range figures, we are going to be sitting at 234 miles of maximum range for the single motor rear drive version. Now, if you choose the all-wheel drive version like what we did, it only goes down by 3 miles. 231 is your maximum range. Now, I have to say that is an area I'm certainly disappointed in this ID.Buzz. For a minivan, a lot of people are going to be taking these on longer road trips, so to only have 230 miles of charge, that's certainly not too impressive. Also, this week when we were charging it up fully, it was showing like about 200.
198.
198 on a full charge. So that's really limiting your potential to take this on long road trips, which it's really good at doing otherwise.
Yeah, I mean, that even in our week of having it, we did experience that because we were going to go visit our grandparents in rural Kentucky. There's no charging infrastructure, but we couldn't with great confidence say that we would make it there and back without being able to charge.
Yeah.
So we had to pick a different vehicle.
Yeah, they would have loved to see it because it's so cool and attention getting, but you can't quite make it everywhere. But let's go ahead and talk about ride quality as well. I think when it comes to ride, this ID.Buzz does a really good job on smoother pavement like this. I will say, as you start to hit some rougher things, such as this bridge abutment that we have coming up, it does let in a little bit more intrusion than some of the other minivans you'd be looking at, such as Toyota Sienna, Honda Odyssey. And I think really the reason for that is you have a little bit more weight on this, and it is tuned a little bit sportier, I guess, in that sense. So that's just something to keep in mind if you take it on super long road trips. The other minivans might be a little bit more comfortable, but that's certainly not saying that this is uncomfortable by any stretch of the imagination.
No, and this is quite a bit more agile in, since that basically is a trade-off. So like Mason was saying, the firmer ride gives you that extra agility. This really is so much sportier than you would think, and especially with the weight down low.
All right, but we're on our designated strip to get our sound level reading, so let's see how quiet the ID.Buzz is going 55 miles per hour. 57.4 decibels is what we are sitting at for the ID.Buzz. We can go to carconfections.com/sound level readings and see how it compares to other minivans you may be looking at. But I have to say, initially, that is certainly a very good sound level reading considering how unaerodynamic this vehicle is and just how tall the overall glass
looks.
I guess it probably is.
It's fairly aerodynamic.
That's going to place it right in the middle of other minivans, so certainly pretty impressive stuff considering, like you said, the looks of how tall this vehicle is. Now, let's also discuss a couple other things that would be pertinent, charging information as well as the efficiency. So, overall efficiency, we've driven it quite a lot this week. As we said at the beginning, it's a 7-day review. We are sitting at 2.1 miles per kilowatt hour as our efficiency on average across the last 120 miles that we've been driving since our last charge. It's also worth noting it's been relatively cold weather for the most part. It finally warmed up towards the end, but 2.1 miles per kilowatt hour, I think that's actually pretty good for a vehicle of this size. Now, as far as the charge time, you can charge it up to 200 kilowatt speeds, which means you can fast charge from 10 to 80% in about 26 minutes. Let's get into our Car Confections Airball and Slam Dunk. Drew, why don't you kick us off with the Slam Dunk of this ID.Buzz?
Well, the Slam Dunk is going to be just how unique this vehicle is. You know, we've been talking about its pedestrian rivals, you know, just regular minivans. They're so lame. People don't like to drive them. You would drive this and you would be instantly cool. I think even like your kids wouldn't be embarrassed to be dropped off at school by
Depends
it.
on how modest they are with this paint scheme.
It does
on the
get a lot of
outside,
attention, but it's rad.
Yeah. On the airball side of things, it's going to be two things. Price and range. Really, those are the main things that we don't like about this ID.Buzz. The range is pretty disappointing and the price is a lot. So, you know, that's just going to be something that you have to live with this vehicle. It's certainly kind of expensive and also doesn't go very far in a charge. But it's a 7-day review, so do we like it better, the same, or worse? Well, given the price and the range, I think we're going to have to say we like this ID.Buzz worse. That's not to say we really don't like a lot of the elements about it. We love the design, and it's just such a unique and cool option in this minivan space. That being said, the price and the range are severe handicaps for this vehicle, and that's why overall I think we're going to have to like it a little bit worse. So our base price is $59,000, and if you want one more highly optioned like this one, we have the all-wheel drive Pro model. $68,000 is our starting. We have the optional paint as well as $1,550 destination. We're sitting at $70,540 as tested. Now, if you're looking to buy a Volkswagen ID.Buzz or any new vehicle, we would encourage you to go to carconfections.com/newcarquotes. The reason you do that is because we have a tool on our website that will connect you with local car dealers in your area to get you the best price. It's also going to give you access to invoice pricing information, which is a great tool for dealership negotiation and can help dealers start competing on price. We even have a monthly payment tool if you'd like to check that out, so do yourself a favor. Go down to the video description and find it in there, or we also have a pinned comment at the top of this video. But buying a vehicle is about more than just the original MSRP, so let's dive into resale and reliability. First up, let's talk about resale value. As an economics graduate myself, Drew and I took the time to develop what we think is a good estimate for this Volkswagen ID.Buzz's potential resale value. We estimate that after 5 years and 60,000 miles, it'll be worth 51.8% of original MSRP, and after 10 years and 120,000 miles, 14.7%. Now, it is worth noting that is actually a little bit above industry average for all vehicle brands. However, it is also worth noting that this is an electric vehicle, and being electric, that does sometimes positively or negatively affect your resale value. It just depends on market conditions.
Now, we've also done the same for reliability by developing the Combined Reliability Index. This takes into account several trustworthy sources on reliability and combines them in a way that gives you a more holistic picture, and was just updated with the latest 2025 data. In this regard, Volkswagen is rated as well below average compared to all other vehicle makes.
Now, if you'd like to learn more about our resale value data, our reliability data, or our methodology, be sure to go to carconfections.com/resale and carconfections.com/reliability. Buying a new vehicle is a big decision, so you want to make sure you're making a smart purchase, especially if you're cross-shopping between different vehicle brands. Now, additionally, your warranty is going to be a 4-year, 50,000-mile basic and powertrain setup. You do also get 2 years and 20,000 miles of complimentary maintenance. And guys, that's going to wrap up this very fun 7-day review. We certainly enjoyed driving this ID.Buzz around and seeing all of the looks that you get. And we hope you found our review helpful if you were looking to buy one of these vehicles and overall practicality and what it's like to live with. If you did find it helpful, we'd really appreciate it if you hit that subscribe button down below. And if you're already part of our family, thank you so much for your continued support. You make this all possible. We'll catch you next time as we sample more of the latest automotive delicacies.